yo, bro, this is your aggressive anger management eating friend who doesn't have any unsupported, educated argument on what it's like to grow up and be told no. So just thought I'd call and say hi in my very aggressive, uneducated, unsupported tone. So I will talk to you later. Hope you have a good day. See ya.
Disclaimer, buckle up. This episode of Three Friends and All the Things is packed with foul language, inappropriate comments, and even some streaking. If that's your jam, then welcome to the circus. Let the shenanigans begin.
Here's the bloody intro. Welcome to Three Friends and All the Things podcast, where the hosts are just here to make each other laugh. And now, here are Chris, Gia, and Jay. Three Friends and All the Things podcast. Real talk for real people.
So like this has been a rough week in July. I mean, we wind up losing three of our like childhood people that like, I mean, I did watch the Cosby Show regardless of all the crap about Cosby himself, but I watched that. Ozzy Osbourne was like, you just were afraid of that dude. And friggin' Hulk Hogan, man, what is going on? Like, man, that was just like a shot. Like, I don't know.
In 4 days. 3 and 4 days.
Yeah, like, well, after Ozzy, that's why I said to you, it happens in 3. And I don't know. I mean, I know Gia's house is mourning because of Ozzy. I feel like I'm mourning. And
Gia's choking. We'll be right back.
Yeah. So we got to do the Heimlich maneuver.
Because I have water now because I spit it out.
Chris, tea is over there.
You didn't see that.
And we're back.
Sorry.
We'll just pause the recording. It's okay. We were just talking about death and almost had one here.
Well, you would have been able
to
do
CPR. Your airflow was stopped, but that's okay.
Back to us losing all of our Gen X, like people we looked up to.
Yes, people dying. Yeah, people dying.
When dead people die.
When dead people die.
Did you guys follow wrestling? When dead people die.
When dead people die.
Yeah.
How could we
Did you guys follow wrestling?
He was the man.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah. Absolutely.
I honestly I didn't know if girls
Hulk,
follow
man,
wrestling. I was being
Yeah.
serious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The old Hulk Hogan. Hulk, Andre the Giant, Jimmy Superfly
Who was from
Snuka.
here,
Come
right?
on.
Superfly.
Seriously?
Was it Superfly that was from here?
It was Bruno
David,
Santino or something like that.
You know, we have T sitting here hanging out, but I'm not so sure that he's caught the news today, and I don't know that he knows that Hulk Hogan passed away. He didn't. He said he didn't know until right now. He said.
T.I.T.
He said.
Are you sad?
Oh.
Do we need to get you a
a
therapy dog named
He has a therapy dog named Cerberus.
We will.
We will
steal that
We're
dog,
his
yeah.
therapist, the dog.
Yeah.
We give the dog therapy.
Yeah. That's okay. That's okay.
Oh my God.
All right.
Yeah. But don't forget
Ozzy Osbourne.
But don't forget one more wrestler that we have not mentioned.
Oh.
Randy Macho Man Savage. You remember
him? Ricky Steamboat, all of them, man. Remember Ricky Steamboat? Oh my God. He was so good.
Back when it was WWF, not WWE.
Federation?
It was originally
What
WWF.
What did the F
World
stand
Wrestling
for?
Federation.
What did the F stand for?
Federation.
Oh, wow. All right. And then, all right. I mean, Hulk Hogan wasn't the only one that died. We had Theo Huxtable. That was actually horrible. He drowned.
I didn't even
And
hear.
apparently someone else drowned with him or something.
No, his daughter was swimming with him. The daughter was swimming with him and she was struggling as well, but a surfer went out and got her on the paddleboard, or got her on the surfboard and paddled her in, and she was okay, but they could not rescue him,
poor girl,
unfortunately.
that poor girl.
Yeah. So that was,
think about that for just 1 minute, left on the surfboard, looking at her father.
She's like, she's
struggle,
just like, he was just taking me
and
out
she
for
got
some-"
to get on the surfboard. Like, I'm sure he put her on the surfboard, right? I'm sure he said, "Save my daughter." But I think I read it was like and I didn't really call it a rip current, but they said he got caught up in a current. Right.
In the current, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It just goes to show you just don't know.
And then
you just don't know with the water. So you got to be careful.
Yes. Yes. The sprinkler
Right.
pimp
And then you
still
got
has
Ozzy
the
Osbourne.
record player open with Ozzy on the record player because he likes to listen to vinyl. So that's still there. And he may have shed a tear. He's a huge Ozzy fan. I know. The whole thing.
I feel like that was a huge shot for Gen X, man. Like that was, a big
He
chunk
was a
of
legend.
our childhood. Yeah.
He's a legend. I mean, how can it not be? And I feel so terrible for Sharon. Like, that was the love of her life.
No, he didn't.
Yeah.
No, but
he didn't make it easy for her, but
she made him.
that was.
We all know that, right? And his kids, my gosh.
And I think, well, speaking of the kids, I think it was crazy because like the reports came out like 3 days before. And she's like, the daughter got on social media and was like, my dad's not dead. Why are you telling all these stories? Blah, 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 blah. And then he died. Like, I'm sure she like meant it, like didn't think he was going to die. And then he went and died. Like, that's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Kind of crazy.
It's a shame. And then Hulk and his family. And like, I don't think he was in the best of health, if I read that correctly, but
no, he was having a lot of health problems. It started with his back
and then all of a sudden,
and then apparently 2 days ago he got a trach
they
put
reported
in
that he could no longer speak.
I didn't know that.
Think like something like cardiac arrest happened. I don't know that to be true, but when I was trying to watch
that's
the live
what the report said. The report
news,
said that he had cardiac
report
arrest.
while I was at work, today.
Well,
all right. Rest in peace to our childhood.
Yeah. And condolences to the Warner family and the Hogan family and the Osbourne family from all of us. Part of our generation just splat, like done, dead. I mean, it's sad, and it's sad that it's happening. And
all right.
It's like, whoa.
So welcome to Three Things and All. You're going to edit that out because I just jammed that all up.
What?
No, I'm not. I'm totally not editing that out. Totally not.
Take two.
That's that's
right. Exactly.
That's right.
If we had a gong, you'd be on the Gong Show.
Welcome to Three Friends and All the Things. I'm Gia, and I'm here with Jay and Kristen. Well, I feel like you kind of are here for this one.
I'm not really here for this one.
Right? Are you not going to be here?
No, I'm here. I got all kinds of good questions set up. I'm ready to go on this one.
Pantalone.
I'm all about the pantalones.
So listen, today we wanted to talk about women in leadership and the impact that they have in the workplace, but also the impact they have at home. And because they're in leadership in the workplace, do they come home and still run the show? Or do they kind of step back and let their spouse handle things all the time? Interesting to think about, right? But we've done a lot of research and we have a lot of things to actually talk about. Hey, Chris, why don't you go ahead and start off with it?
Okay. Well, the one thing I found is that women-owned businesses in the United States, this blew me away. They generate $1.8 trillion in revenue annually. Women-owned businesses. That is amazing. That is absolutely amazing. Women are nearly half the workforce, but they're very underrepresented in management and leadership positions. There's still that inequality going on. There's definitely more men in leadership positions, but women are they're up and coming. They are definitely up and coming. Women managers are younger. They tend to be more educated and less likely to have children compared to their male managers or, male counterparts, whatever level you're on. And, despite the educational achievements that, that they have, women's presence declines at each career stage, which is unfortunate. So, there's always, I think there's always going to be that gap.
Yeah. I found it interesting that, 38% of married women earn more than their husbands in the U.S. 38. Now, I actually would love to know the number maybe even 10 years ago. Because I think that's steady on the rise, and 16% of women are primary or sole breadwinner.
Right.
And
meaning what's funny about that is you're saying 10 years ago, the very first article that I had pulled up today was from 2015, and I was reading it, and just in the wording, it was inaccurate, and it wasn't even something that I wanted to even bring to the table today, because it was basically talking about how women were still not as far ahead as we are. I don't want to use the word inferior in the workplace, but kind of we're inferior in the workplace. And I put it aside and said, well, we're not going to use this one because that's, 10 years ago. Right. So 38%. Go ahead. What else, Jay?
Right. Hold on. I got my stuff right here. 29% are with both spouses earning 40 to 60 of the combined income, while 38% is overall figure women out earning their spouses. About 1 in 6 households have women clearly running the financial show, which is pretty big. So these numbers have tripled since the 1970s.
Wow. Okay.
1970s. Think back to the 80s. Chris, your mom your mom was working. My mom, she really wasn't working until she got older and then decided to go out on her own. Like, she basically stayed at home with us. So, I mean, I think that's a big number. And I think that number is only going to get bigger, because I think, women have the empathy, women have the ideas, women dream bigger, I believe, than men. And I think that, with that, they're more likely to, like, go big. It's like go big or go home.
I am curious to know what they're doing at home, though, when they have a spouse, not a single mom earning 6 figures, not a single mom earning 6 figures. I mean, I'm sorry. Look, I lost all my train of thought. Not a single mom earning 6 figures. That is exactly what I want to say. I'm having brain fog. But when there's a spouse in the home and the spouse is home, particularly in this case, the man, he's cooking, he's cleaning, he's spending time with the children. What's going on there? Is the woman coming home and still directing traffic?
Well, it's actually, so it's funny you say that. I actually know somebody where the woman works and the husband stays home with her, like, 2-year-old kid. And, she makes, $1.25 or more, somewhere along that line. I personally, regardless of spending all the quality time with my kid, I could not sit in the house all day and not contribute monetarily. Like, that's just me. So I'm sure they all came to that group decision and they decided it, or whatever it may be. And he cooks dinner, takes care of the house, the kids, all that. I have to contribute in some way and monetarily. And I don't know how people do that, but there's a lot of that going on.
So you don't want to be Mr. Mom?
No. I mean, I can. So
as far as the family dynamics, though, with the dad staying home, it actually strengthens the father-child relationship. And when the father stays home, it's more flexible, balanced of a household. And obviously we're breaking the outdated gender roles too, right? Which we know that. But yeah, it's supposed to make for a much stronger relationship between the father and the child.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy to me. But I do get it. I mean, listen, this whole scenario of, I like, for example, I have to be honest with you. I don't want to come home and have to be in control of everything. I work all day.
Right.
I have people that are underneath me and that, I have to control. The last thing I want to do is come home and, control even little people, little humans.
I call them tiny humans.
Yeah. Right, producer T? Little or medium-sized humans.
Right. He's not so tiny.
Right. Yeah. But, I don't want to do that. I don't want to make any decisions. Like, I know the things I have to do. I have my duties in the house. And not that I want it to fall on her either. Like, I certainly don't want that. But I just, it comes down to it also comes down to like what your relationship is. Right? Because if Chris, if you're in charge of your relationship, you're going to run everything at home and work. Definitely everything at home. If you're just whatever organized and and if you're not, like, if you're a balanced couple, then that's what you do. You're a balanced couple. Like I go back to, if one person cooks, the other person cleans up dinner.
Oh, absolutely. You have to have that balance, and it should be a law, really. It should be a law that whoever cooks dinner does not do the dishes. It should be a law. It should be a law. Whoever cooks dinner should not have to do the dishes, and vice versa.
Right.
Over in this household, Joe does outside stuff. The lawn and the he'll mow and he'll weed, and he's moving stuff and planting trees, and I do help on occasion. I do help. I will say I do like mowing the lawn. That's what I like to do. So I've done it maybe twice since I've been here, because most of the time, because he's home all day, and that doesn't mean he's sitting around doing nothing. I come home, he's always outside in that barn. He's out on the tractor. He's mowing. He's doing something, planting, raking. Whatever it is.
My man Joe. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I said to him, well, I'll hop on the mower and I'll cut the grass. No problem. And he said, you just doing that was, he's like, that basically saved me a day, because he's got so many other things going on, and while he's outside doing the outside stuff, I'm inside doing laundry and, making the bed and, vacuuming, whatever. But that's not to say he does do laundry. We also have a rule: last one out of bed has to make the bed, right? That's fine. I don't care how it's done, as long as it gets done. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of chores to be done in the house. However, what I don't like are the people who are so controlling that it's like, you didn't vacuum the right way. You didn't put the vacuum in the right direction and leave the perfect vacuum marks on the carpet. You didn't make the bed that you could bounce a quarter off of because we think we live in the military. No, let's not get too extremes. Just be grateful that it's done.
The lines in the carpet are not straight and even across the floor. I've gotten that. My sibling.
Yeah.
Thank God hard
People
service
do that.
made a comeback. Let me tell you.
I know somebody.
Let me tell you.
I know somebody. Okay. I know. Well, I personally don't know somebody in this equation.
Wait. Back up. Time out.
I know that sounded so stupid.
Time out. That's almost as bad as when dead people die.
Dead people die. I know.
I know somebody, but I don't know somebody in this scenario. So,
Joe.
That's
Joe
twice now in this podcast.
Okay. Joe was in a relationship with somebody who, every time they had a party, the party had to have a theme. Okay. plastic utensils had to be the same color. Otherwise, it wasn't happening. He'd get in trouble. Okay. We're talking about someone who would wrap presents and have to use a glue gun because tape was not acceptable. That is just over the top insane. Okay.
Wait a minute.
No.
Don't have OCD by any stretch of the means.
I got a little bit.
But, if I was throwing a party and there was like 2 different color plastic silverware, I'd be like, really? Like, I'd get over it, but I might go to the store and get more. I don't know. Depends. I might.
No, that was not allowed. That was not allowed. So we had a party and we got a bunch of the, plastic utensils, threw them in a cup. And I remember he said to me, is it okay that the utensils aren't the same color? And I looked at him and I'm like, why would I care? I'm like, are they cleaned? He's like, yeah. And I go, then who cares? Like, I don't care.
Right.
As long as we have enough. And if we don't, then we just get the silverware out. No big deal. That was so foreign to him because of the control issue. Like, here he is trying his best to, do the housework and do the things to pick up the slack. And all he got was criticized for it. And then here I come and I'm like, I don't care. I don't care that the bed's not made perfect. If you at least straightened out the blankets and made it look presentable, that's all I care about. Because to me, I feel like having your bed made, like it starts your day off right.
It starts your day. It does. Start your day off.
Yeah.
And
we take turns. Like, some days I make the bed, some days he doesn't. Even when it's my turn, or even when it's his turn to make the bed, sometimes I'll just go ahead and do it because I'm getting ready for work. I have like an extra minute. I'll just do it. He'll empty. He knows I hate emptying the dishwasher. He'll take on that. He does most of the cooking. I will do the dishes. No problem. But there are times, Gia, believe it or not, there are times that I do the cooking and the house is still standing. Yeah.
Holy cow. Kristen's cooking.
Yeah.
I do have a question though for you, Chris. So you have told all of our viewers and our listeners that Joe is home all day. And you work. Now, do we need to tell the listeners if you're in a big leadership role as we're discussing, or do we want to just leave it alone? Because I think that our listeners and viewers are going to be like, well, you said that your human is home all day.
Yes, he is, because my human,
Jay is letting in rays of light. Look at the rays of light.
It's Apostle John.
You look like an. Oh, he has come to visit.
Apostle John.
Oh God, here we go. Okay.
Sorry. Okay, Chris.
Talk
about your leadership position.
So my human is home because he is retired.
Thank you.
And even though he is home and retired, he busts his ass to keep this household going. Outside, inside, doesn't matter. He busts his ass to keep this household going. And I will come home and, he'll say, oh, I threw in a load of laundry. I hope you don't mind. But like, he's really good. Like, he separates the laundry and he throws stuff in. And let's face it, I don't buy anything that needs to be dry cleaned. If I can't throw it in the washer, I just don't buy it. So like, whatever. Most of my stuff can be washed and dried, so he can go ahead and do it. I don't care. And I live on the theory, if it gets ruined, then, oh, well, you just ruin a piece of clothing and it's replaceable. You just go buy something else. Now, with that being said, he pulls a lot of weight around here. He really does. He's, I'm very lucky that he is very generous, with his time and cares enough to help me out, because he knows that I'm at work all day. I'm dealing with patients and I come home and I am mentally exhausted. So, there's that.
But that's key. Right. So that's key. So now everyone understands. So we don't have to get any like snide remarks. Right.
Correct.
But Jay,
I don't so much care.
What I don't really care
What?
either. Jay, what about you? Jay is having a moment here in the sun, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see exactly what he's doing. My word. Land the plane, Jay. Land the damn plane.
I'm all here.
Okay.
I'm here.
So
let's
tell
remember
me,
Jay got kicked out of
What
Catholic school. Jay was kicked
Yes.
out of
That's right.
Catholic school. So let's not let any of this
How sweet.
sunlight.
Not one of the better moments, and I've repented
Kicked
since
out of
then.
Catholic school. How
So,
could
okay,
we forget?
which-
So Jay, I just noticed that there's little people in your Phillies shirt, and that is super cool. That is so super cool. So Jay, you're in a leadership role. Let's talk about when you get home. I know we're talking about women in the workplace and what they do when they get home. Well, what do? You're in a leadership role, right? Like, I'm sure that you don't want to come home and run the show. I most certainly, when I was in my leadership roles, the last thing I wanted to do was come home and run the show, but I still did.
I absolutely don't. Like, I literally want to get in my cozies, as my wife puts it, and I want to sit on the couch. But we, we have a very balanced way we do things. We do the cooking during the week. She does do the bulk of it during the weekend. I do most of it. And then like laundry, we are 50-50 on the laundry. Like I'm usually the one putting it in, switching it over, and she's usually the one taking it out, folding it. I'm the cleaner. I clean the house. I'm the cleaner in that. And believe it or not, she's the one who writes out the bills. She still writes checks out, sends it out. She doesn't do the auto payment. Oh yeah, she's old school. So balance on the checkbook, everything. Because that's something I hate. So it's like I remember talking about it. I hate doing this. I hate doing that. I got it. No worries. And the way that I look at it is that we're like we pick up each other's faults. We like where maybe I'm the better cleaner. And maybe she's she's definitely a better bill writer. There's no maybe about it, but I hate math. But
Ditto.
But I also work in a position. So it's funny because I am in a leadership role, but I'm also the people above me, and the higher two leaders above me are women. So I come home, and the last thing I want to do is tell anybody what to do, or and it sucks. It's something I have to work on personally, but like I listen to people's problems all day, and the last thing I want to do sometimes is listen to people complain. Except my wife, I love her, and I'll listen to that beautiful angelic voice all day long. But it's tough. It's tough to find that balance too. But I will say, being in a leadership role with women is interesting. It's a different aspect, because where I think one of you guys said it today when we were talking about this topic. Which, by the way, who do we have to give a shout out to? Someone emailed us this topic.
Yes, Karen emailed us about doing this topic. Thank you for that reminder. So I want to give a big old shout out to Karen. Thank you so much. We really appreciate you reaching out and kind of giving us a topic.
And you can message us on any social media. But I think it's funny because at one point today we said something about women being more empathetic. I work with two tough women in different areas. And I think the field in the healthcare field that I'm in, I think it's tough for a woman, especially like say a head nurse. I think it's really tough because that's a industry where it's been dominated by men. So a woman comes in and she's smart, she's intelligent, she's a leader, and people follow her. Like I could see men being offended by that, or lesser men, lesser doctors, lesser whatever it may be, take offense to that, and they turn around and they use that to their advantage when maybe they're not better. There are just good workers, good people, and I think the gender thing is a little outdated at this point. I think that we focus too much on what's a woman and what's a man, and instead of I really like working for that person, or I'll do whatever that person wants me to do. So yeah, I've seen it from all angles.
Okay, so I'm just going to read you something, and then I want your thoughts, and Chris can go as soon as I'm finished reading this here, and then Jay will shoot it back to you. As more women take on the role of primary earners and men step into full-time caregiving, families and society are experiencing a quiet revolution. This shift challenges long-held beliefs about masculinity, femininity, and family structure. Now, at home, children benefit from having the presence of an emotionally engaged father. Family roles become more flexible and equal, reflecting individual strengths rather than outdated stereotypes. Economically, this can be a smart move, especially when a woman earns more or the cost of childcare, which is high. It also empowers women with financial independence. I'm sorry, you guys, I really can't see. It also empowers women with financial independence and leadership opportunities. But socially, the role reversal is helping break down the rigid gender norms. Though it doesn't come out with hurdles, stay-at-home dads may face judgment, and women may still carry the mental load of managing the household, even while working full-time. Workplace systems also lag behind with limiting paternity leave and support for male caregivers. So, despite all the challenges, many couples report stronger relationships and shared respect when the roles are chosen intentionally. That's key, I think, right? There's a shared respect when the roles are chosen intentionally. Children raised in these homes tend to adopt more inclusive views on gender, setting the stage for a more equal future. But I think the key thing, at least from that last paragraph there, is when the roles are chosen intentionally. It's not like there's a man who lost his job and feels, demasculated because he's searching for a job and the woman has to go out to find a position, right? To kind of make up what's being lost. That's not what we're talking about here. So, Chris, what do you think about the role reversal and the children benefiting from having a father at home full time? Because that normally it doesn't happen for us like that.
Okay, so I can say when I was growing up, my dad worked, and so did my mom. However, my mom was a nurse and she worked night shift because she wanted a parent home with us all the time. She always wanted one parent to be accessible, So my mom would work nights, my dad would work days, and being that my mom was a nurse, she worked, maybe 3-4 nights a week, because they do that shift work thing, whatever. And I think as the years go by and times change and women are growing in the workplace and they're taking on more senior roles and more responsibility, I feel like, and again, this is going to depend on the relationship as well. I feel like there is an understanding between the man and the woman with their job and what needs to be done. And I think that if there's a child or children in the home and they see the parents working as a team rather than, butting heads, then I think that's very beneficial for the kid, because then the kid, whether it be a boy or a girl, they're going to grow up where the girl might think, you know what, I can be a CEO of a company. I can run my own business. And the boy is thinking, you know what? It's okay that I mop the floor and do laundry. And that doesn't mean that I'm any less of a male. I think, right. I think now, because there's so many women out there who are working, as opposed to back in, I don't know what, the 70s, maybe, there's more women in the workforce. I mean, women make up 50% of the workforce. Let's just face it. Now, I'm sure that number has increased over the years to be 50%. But, before it was like, well, mom stays home and dad works. Okay, that's great. And, oh, when dad has time, he'll take me to Little League, or when dad has time, we'll do this, we'll do that, whatever. But I think now, because times are changing, and I think that everything has become so expensive, I don't know how people live on one income, honestly. So I think with both the husband and the wife both working and both taking on responsibilities and sharing the responsibilities, I think that teaches the children regardless of what their gender is, that it's okay to, you know, do the dishes after dinner. It's okay to vacuum. It's not necessarily, you know, stay barefoot and pregnant in the kitchen. It's the woman's job. No, it's not, you know. And I think there's more young boys, young men who are understanding that, you know, the slack needs to be picked up. It's not your mom's responsibility. It's not your sister's responsibility. You also have a responsibility. And I think there's
Right.
more dads out there teaching their sons, like, hey, come on, let's help mom. Let's help your sister. We'll do this together, you know, blah, blah, blah. And I think it just becomes second nature. And then all the kids grow up realizing, like, okay, this is what needs to be done, you know, and it's
Right.
okay.
And
It shouldn't,
again,
it shouldn't, you know, a man should not feel, thank
There you
you.
go.
Thank you for the applause. Okay. A man should just not feel emasculated by the fact that they need to pick up and, you know, help with the slack during the household, you know. But I also don't think that a woman should let it go to her head that I'm going to kill you. I don't think a woman should let it go to her head like, oh, I'm the breadwinner. You done?
anyway, yeah.
It froze. Yeah.
I don't think a woman
What's
should
going
let
on
it
with
go to
me?
her head. Okay. I don't think a woman should let it go to her head that she makes more money and, oh, my husband's home all day. He should be doing all of this stuff. I think it just needs to be 50-50 and the couple needs to work that out. And therefore it'll be a positive effect on their kids.
I would agree with that. And, you know, I think that you are right there. You make a very good point when you say that, you know, their parents are both have to work these days because things are so expensive. I don't know, unless there's 1%ers out there, that might be a little bit of a different story, but everyone else needs to have two incomes just to live. But
well, it was funny because we were talking about this not that long ago, where like I remember, I mean, in the 80s, I want to say my dad maybe made 50, 60, and that was high. That
yeah,
was
that
like
was a lot of money
rich.
then.
That was like
That was
rich
like
back then. And my mom didn't work, and it was enough to cover all the bills and to do everything that needed to be done. You know, I think that's funny too, because now I think if you make 70, 80, it's not enough.
It's not.
Right. Right.
It's not. You need a minimum of both people making, I'd say 90 if both people are working.
And it,
you know?
And it's really hard because then you get like, you know, the little kids who, you know, they might need to be in daycare, and daycare is so expensive that a lot of these people are like, well, do I go back to work? Because if I work, I'm literally working only to pay the daycare bill. So do they stay home and not work, or do they go to work and have this astronomical bill where they're just breaking even? I don't know. I mean, I guess that's situation dependent, and you know, what works
Chris,
best
a lot
for,
of people do that.
Yeah.
A lot of people do that because the daycare bill is just, you know, another mortgage or a rent payment or something.
A lot of times
it's
easier for the one to stay home and not use daycare at all.
Right.
So,
right.
Yeah.
All right, Gia, what you got for me?
Well, I was about to say that we are implementing having our child do things around the house. You know, put your dishes in the sink, empty the dishwasher. For a multitude of reasons, right? Because one, responsibility is never going to hurt anybody. It's a good thing to have. But also, you know, you need to be able, these are life skills as well, right? But we need the help, right? Because we both work. You know? And today was a prime example. He was tired. He was trying to nap. He had something to do tonight. I came home, I'm like, did you make dinner? He's like, well, no, because I had to run here, right? So we could do this. But, you know, he said, well, what do you want to eat? I said, well, I'm not concerned about me. I'm concerned about him eating. So while I was getting ready, he made dinner. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. But as far as like, I think that in the beginning, God was going to feed T. I didn't care about eating, you know?
Right.
But, you know, and things at least for us have changed as of late, where I used to feel like I would run around like a maniac and I was trying to do all the laundry and I was trying to keep everything straight and run around. Um, and it's kind of cool now because he's joined in and everything's like 50-50 right now, which is awesome. And
Yeah.
I go home a couple nights a week. And when I came back last night, I was like elated. But, and it's hard, I know for me specifically, because, I do go back to my parents' home where I've kind of stepped out of that role a little bit. I feel guilty about that, but I've stepped out of that role a little bit. But I used to come home from work when I was in leadership and I felt like I had to run the show over there.
Right. Right.
So, but I'm glad to not be running any shows, honestly. But, so all in all, what did we decide? Do you think women are still in that leadership role at home? Or do you think that they're taking a step and taking the back seat?
Listen, I always think there's always going to be a percentage of women who need to be in charge, right? Whether it's at home, whether they, I shouldn't say women. I'm going to say people. People have control issues. Some people like to be in control. Other people's don't. I mean, I just think it comes down to what relationship you're in.
Other people's
whether
don't?
other people's. Listen, I didn't say when you die and you're dead and you're still dead. And
Excuse
then
me.
I know somebody, but I
Excuse
heard
me.
somebody, and I don't
Do
know
they have a ghost wardrobe?
On the bus knows, yeah. God.
The correct term is
wonder
when
if they have
dead
a ghost
people
wardrobe.
die.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. When dead people die.
So
When
I
dead
think it
people
comes
die.
down to the people's in the relationship,
The people's.
right? I think it comes down to them. I mean, because it's all about the relationship, right? It's about the relationship you have with your partner. It's about the relationship you have with yourself. I'm again, like I've known people who you can't do laundry. My mom taught me to do laundry when I was 10 years old so that I didn't have to depend on anybody. You're going to tell me I don't know how to do laundry? Oh, but it just wasn't that person's way.
Right.
Okay.
That's right.
All right.
Yeah.
I understand that,
Yeah.
So that's more the relationship with them, like, because that's not going to work with other people. So that's what I think we decided is it comes down to the relationship.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with Jay. I do think it comes down to the relationship. And I do feel like now, more men are picking up the slack at home. Just in general, I feel like, I find myself surrounded by more men who treat their partners 50-50 than men who were like, oh no, that's for her to do. That's her job. That's her job. I don't really hear that anymore. A lot of our friends, it's the guy who, is cooking, is baking, is doing laundry, is making beds, is dusting, cleaning bathrooms. It's like, okay, that's fantastic. And I think, I don't know if it's an age thing, or, if it's like our age group and older, or if it's just in general that more men are just starting to pick up the slack now, and they're helping women. But again, that also goes back to the relationship and what kind of relationship do you have with your partner, So, I think it's great. I love that, Joe does a majority of the work around here, during the day, and I come home and we split the housework when I am here, and I don't mind doing it because I know how much he's doing during the day.
Well,
so, there's that.
Well, I have a couple things. I think there's a rerun of the Muppets on, so I'm going to go Gen X it.
Okay.
When I get home. Number 2, I'm tired. I'm not going to lie, people. It's hot.
Because you're a boss lady.
It's just hot. And you know what?
You wear the pantalones.
I totally wear the pantalones.
Pantalones. Yes.
But, I think we had a really good chat tonight. And I think that it's still open for discussion. And I think maybe this is something we could revisit. But in the meantime, I think we're going to drop it here. And we are going to tell you to remember who you are. Keep it real. Be safe. And thank you so much for listening and watching. We'll see you guys soon.
Thanks for listening to the show. Be sure to like and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. See you next time on Three Friends and All the Things podcast. Real talk, real people. New episodes drop every week, so hit follow, leave a review, and tell your messiest friend to listen too. You know the one I'm talking about. Until next time, keep it real, keep it loud, and keep doing all the things.